Hello, dear listener, and welcome to ThriveCast, unlocking your full potential. Your well-being is our priority, and we're here to provide you with practical, heartfelt advice on living your best life. Together, we'll explore identity, purpose, prosperity mindset, authenticity, and so much more. So grab your headphones and get ready. Your journey starts now. So hello everybody and welcome to ThriveCast, Unlocking Your Full Potential. I'm Oscar, I'm an emotional fitness coach, and if you're experiencing conflict in your relationships, I'm your guy. I specialize in helping people with relationship issues. And I'm joined here today with Katarina Hansens-Carlson. Katarina, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. So I'm an entrepreneurial blueprint consultant. What does that mean? I can help you kickstart your business. If you're already in a business, I will help you grow spiritually so that your business grows. So contact details later. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about our spiritual teachers, which is like an amazing subject because one of my spiritual teachers actually saved my life. But first of all, we go to the first question. What is a spiritual teacher, Oscar?
That's a vast subject, but
Yeah.
essentially, spiritual teacher, it is someone who is on the path of universal wisdom and have connected to a part that is somewhat transcendent of what this world is about. It has nothing to do with the let's say the current state of affairs, but it's more of a transcendent perspective. Usually you can see someone who has this when they're just laughing or they're overall joyful, and it's like and people, it could be serious stuff, but they're laughing at it. And so that, I would say, is a spiritual teacher. It's and it can also be something very simple. It does not have to have huge following or something like that. And it has, yeah, it can be someone that is a little bit of a step ahead of you, and that just this is what you're needing right now. And spiritual teachers can evolve throughout our lives, and we can have multiple ones. Just by reading a book, for instance, you can come in contact with a consciousness that might be a little bit, well, higher or having a broader perspective than you're currently at. And just by allowing yourself to read that, you're tapping into his or her wisdom. Yeah, that's my idea. And yours, Katarina?
Okay, mine, I would say, is a being that started off like every human being, but they had the courage to go on a spiritual journey and they ascended. For me, a spiritual teacher is somebody with a universal perspective. How do they create this universal perspective? Because they've ascended. They haven't died. They've ascended, like Jesus Christ did or Yeshua ben Joseph did. So they can see not only the past and the present, but the future. So they have a perspective that's huge. So in our human perspective, they can help us because they can help to raise our vibration so that we see a greater perspective. So I hope that's not too complicated. Let's go to the next question. So why do we need a spiritual teacher? Why can't we just be our own spiritual teachers, which in fact we are, but why would we need a spiritual teacher?
Well, again, it's about the knowledge we tap into. It's about the information stream that feeds us. You know, you eat healthy food in order to be healthy. If you eat crap food, you will most likely feel, first of all, like bloated, and you might get even more diseases and these things. It's the same with information. When you get information from a spiritual teacher, it's like a healthy dose that feeds your mind and your emotions and your body actually with again, as you said, a vibration that is beneficial for your being at the state, at the level that you're currently at. And you will feel it because that's called a resonance. You are essentially pulled to something, towards something. You're fascinated by reading it. And you are so because you sense that when you read it, you feel this uplifting feeling. And that's essentially just because it tells you that, well, this is what you are in need of right now. And obviously then you can see is like, oh, am I going to go into a personal work with this being, this person, or this ascended master? Or is it simply for me to read this book or read this line? Yeah, that's my idea. Yours, Katarina?
Yes, when do we do? I remember a time I was running a psychotherapy center in Helsingborg, which was going very, very well. And I got a very clear message that I needed a specific spiritual teacher. And it took me, when I listened within, it took me to Switzerland. It took me to experiences there at his ashram. And if you have a spiritual need and you feel that you need to go to the next level, then answers will come and the teacher will come when you are ready. We all have a need to grow spiritually. I mean, after all, that's basically why we're here. We think, well, we're here to go to school, meet somebody wonderful, get married, get a job, or maybe get a job before I got married, have children, and then have grandchildren, and then die. That's it. In my perspective, it's way, way more than that. So we all have a need for guidance because this planet is evolving. We are evolving. I mean, we can look at wars, we can look at terrorism, we can all look at everything, you know, financially that's going wrong with our planet. But actually, we're moving into an age, a spiritual age. And so if you feel the need for a spiritual teacher, just go within and you will be guided to your spiritual teacher. So what's the next question? Who are our spiritual teachers? Oscar, who are your spiritual teachers?
Well, right now it's become Jesus. And essentially because tapping into and understanding universal love, that's where I'm at right now. Or and maybe this will be different. However, I sensed when I read the Bible from the perspective that I've now acquired, as I read it, then everything makes sense. And as I read it, I unlock parts inside of me. But for someone who listens to this, when you might read the Bible, it might be completely different. Why? Because you're essentially not coming from the perspective. So let's say that you're reading something, it's like, oh, that was harsh. Then you might disregard it. So that's the beauty of spiritual teachers. So I would say that's the beauty of the path, because you will always be guided to the next step. You can, and if you're not sure, you simply ask, you say to the universe or God or whomever, and say like, I'm stuck. Give me a sign. Where am I supposed to go? And just be open for it, and then things will transcend. But especially for me right now, it is definitely Jesus. But throughout my life, there's been others. Essentially, when I've been stirred inside to check out something or read or whatever it is, then I've just gone for that, and I've seen that, oh, that I got that perspective, and now I got that. And so you're building a form of perspective inside of yourself, where you're completing all these aspects of your own inner mosaic. And this is building your uniqueness, which ultimately will lead to this transcendent way of being. But if I would say, at least from my perspective, I see that everything leads to God. And when you get the pure connection to God, then you won't need maybe that many other spiritual teachers. That's from my side, at least. And yours, Katarina?
Yeah, that's really interesting, Oscar. All roads lead to God, not necessarily to Rome, but to God in this life. I mean, whichever, even if I decided to be a drug addict or to join the mafia or whatever, or to become a terrorist, eventually I would hit rock bottom. And that's still a spiritual journey, because I may wake up, I may die, but I may wake up and realize this is not for me, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
because we
go ahead.
always have a whisper inside of us that desires for us to get to the path of ultimately God.
Yes, absolutely. So we're on the path, whether we like it or not. We're all spiritual beings, whether we like it or not. Whether we say we're atheists or agnostics, or we deny that God even exists, we're on a spiritual journey. So who were my teachers? Who are my teachers? So once a teacher in my life, it's in a way, it's always a teacher. So I started off at congregational church, and I felt very, very close to Jesus Christ as a child. And I used to sit in my bed and sing prayers, and I wasn't very happy as a child, but it was a great comfort to me to be close to Jesus Christ. And I used to dream about him even. And then when I was in Helsingborg running my therapy center, I realized I needed another spiritual teacher. And that was Babaji of Harakan. And he taught me that no matter who you are, what you're doing in life, you deserve God's love. And if you deserve God's love, you also deserve to love yourself. So I went into, deep hatred, self-denial, etc., to love, which was a huge transformation. And he taught me that. Plus, when I was 5 years old, I met a teacher that has been with me for the whole of my life, and his name is Ramtha. And at the age of 5, I actually died. I left my body. My doctor said I was going to die. My mother was a nurse. The whole family knew I was going to die. I had whooping cough and pneumonia. I wanted to die. I met my teacher out of my body. And he said to me, little girl, where are you going? And I said, up there, anywhere, but not down here. And he said, you go back and I will see you later. And, I was 5 years old. I thought he was going to come play with me. And in a way, he did. He never left me. And years later, I met him and studied with him for 7 years. So he totally transformed my life. He gave me a vision. So he's helped me in an entrepreneurial way. He will be with me forever. So if you want a spiritual teacher, ask within, and it will happen.
I want to add something there too. You said 7 years. That's a fascinating period in itself, because it goes from 0 to 7 years when we are born. We're in this state of theta where we're unconscious, essentially, just taking in this. And our life actually works in 7 year cycles.
Yes.
So usually after 7 years, we've completed a cycle. So interesting that you studied for 7 years. You were finished with a cycle then.
7 years of consciousness.
Yeah.
7 levels of consciousness.
Yeah.
So how do we contact you, Oscar?
Oh, you reach me through my website, realitydecoding.com. And I also have a Facebook group called Live Your Purpose. And on YouTube, my name is Oscar Nygren. Yeah. And you, Katarina?
Yes. You can reach me on LinkedIn, Catherine Carlson. My brand name is Katarina Hansens Carlson, which I prefer, but my formal name is Catherine Carlson, which LinkedIn accept. And I also have a link with this video, so please click on my link if you want to have a spiritual breakthrough. I can help you with that. So contact me. And let's see, what is our next talk? Our next video is on healing trauma. And Oscar is an expert at that. I'm an expert at that. So if you want to heal the trauma in your life, watch our next video.
Absolutely.
Bye for now. Oscar, do you have something else to add?
No, nothing to add. Just see you later, guys. Nice talking to you again.